Hey, what's up you guys? This is Junior Trader, and in this video we are taking a look at Apple stock, and there's a lot going on with Apple. So is this a stock that you should take an opportunity here to buy, since it's definitely at a cheaper price point and way lower from the all-time highs, or should you avoid it as another hot potato right now? Because as we'll go through in this video, I'll take you over how things have been building up for, or I should say actually against Apple, for its balance sheet at least. And price action is what we'll focus on, because price action, as we'll go through, there are some areas that, as if price does come down there are chances that Apple might be discounted enough that even those dark clouds that we have shadowing its price action right now and the price on the stock itself, that will still maybe worth buying at those price points. So let's talk about all through the bigger macro picture on Apple, what's going on. And I'll have to take you on a little bit of a background and all the way first to what is also recently developing on the Apple situation, and then we'll jump into the price action in this video. Now, if you're also looking for regular updates, because what I'll talk here today, might change eventually in coming days, because market is every day changing. And if you want to receive all those updates on regular basis, then check out the memberships in the description of this video. I do regular coverage with the members. If you have joined my bonus stocks coverage membership on my Patreon, links are in the description below, then you will receive regular updates on the price action on the big cap stocks. And also, besides that, I provide other plays as well, which are looking interesting. And over the course of just last months, members have made 40% plus, I should say 40% plus profits on so many stocks. Again, all those details are in the description of this video. Please make sure when you visit the membership section on my Patreon that you read through the details, what those memberships offer, because there are multiple memberships and every membership offers different things. And there are also memberships for my trading tools if you need access to those as well. Again, details are in the description of this video. Anyways, none of this is any financial advice, only for education purposes, just sharing my opinion. Please do your own thing. Now, we'll get to the price action in just a second. Let's little bit visit the macro situation of Apple. As you can see, we are already in the decline on Apple stock price, right? But let's a little bit revisit Apple's situation. Now, Apple has had this lawsuit ongoing with Epic, and eventually court ruled that Apple is no longer, or can no longer obligate or prohibit app stores, or sorry, the developers and their apps on the US storefront, because the case was brought in the US judicial system, that these apps have to use Apple's in-app payment system, which means Apple can no longer force 30% commission, because many apps have already submitted, right, like Spotify and many others along the lines, their updates of using their external payment systems through Stripe or any other external payment system that they use. And thus, they are able to skirt away and around from Apple's in-app purchases, which Apple's take 30% commission on that. So yeah, external links can be put in there. This is a bit of a summary of that provision. And so there's a huge dent in the balance sheet that Apple would face in definitely incoming quarters. And stock price is reflecting that as well. And stock price, as we'll go through the areas to watch, what is the price action telling us, we'll get to that as well. But so it doesn't end here though. Like, yeah, that's a huge hit on Apple, but there's a lot more developing as well, right? So, but let's a little bit talk about the bad blood between right now, Fortnite games and Apple as well. So this was, weeks following after that news, Apple ended up blocking Fortnite video game submissions, preventing its release on the US app stores. That's what Epic Games said, or to the Epic Games store for iOS in the European Union. Fortnite said on Friday, but that was on the May 16th of Friday, okay? I'm just taking you along the journey of how bad is it really been for Apple and this, sour relationships that they're having now. And yeah, so anyways, that's a bit of those on that Fortnite and Epic Games Fortnite and Apple, and then all that court ruling and everything. That case went for years, guys. Now it doesn't end there, as I said. Also, Tim Cook, like Trump is really, really after Tim Cook's to really make him not skirt around tariffs anymore. Trump is definitely not beating around the bush with Tim Cook. And as you can see, this is the latest one. That is the as things are unfolding, as in the recent times, that on Friday again, and just not on one occasion, Trump has been going after Tim Cook for weeks now, right? Like Trump first put tariffs on China, Tim Cook moved to India, and Trump says, you know what, hold on, Tim Cook, you can't just go around fooling my intelligence and this, the Trump's intelligence, and you got to bring back to the US, right? The US, well, Apple's manufacturing. So on Friday, President Trump targeted Apple, I should say again here, because as I said, this is not on a first occasion. Trump has been after them for, quite some time now, with new demands that the company make iPhones in the US, threatening 25% tariffs if the company doesn't comply. Trump whisperer Laura Loomer posted on X reminding the Apple CEO he's at the center of President's trade bull's eye. That is just one of the threats Cook has confronted in what has appeared to be a no good, very bad year for Apple. Aside from Trump, Cook is facing off against two US judges, European and worldwide regulators, state and federal lawmakers, and even a creator of the iPhone, to say nothing of the cast of rivals outrunning Apple in artificial intelligence. Each is a threat to Apple's hefty profit margins. Now, putting that together with the 30% loss on the gravy train of the money that they're going to have now, they're gone completely from US app stores. They cannot obligate. I want to emphasize it's not global. It's just in the US App Store. But hey, Europe keep finding Apple here and there 100 different ways. I consider Europe economy is more driven by finding these big tech companies out of US. But anyways, now each is a threat to Apple's hefty profit margins, long the company's trademark, and the reason investors drove its valuation above $3 trillion before any other company. Shareholders are still Cook's most important constituency. The stock's per 25% fall from its peak shows their concern about whether he or anyone can navigate the choppy 2025 waters. Anyways, now this is in a summary, the 30% and the trade wars, and Tim Cook really being on the Trump's trades bullseye over here. And so all is what is a dark cloud on Apple. And this is where some of these headlines doesn't make sense, and you should be wary about these, and you should just touch it with a, or don't even touch it with a even with a mile long the poll here, right? Like Apple price target maintained with a $270 per share by Wedbush. This is unlikely to happen in my opinion this year, unless price action shows us something, because their balance sheet right now, I'm not seeing any way improving of Apple. So we'll take a look at the technicals, because technicals will give us all the head start of what the price action is telling us. But you should avoid these headlines with a mile long mile long poll as well. Just avoid these headlines. They're just gonna make you make bad decisions, and you're really not going to benefit putting your money when the price action is not confirming us, the macro is not confirming us, and all of that. Anyways, that's a little bit of a highlight of what things are building up on Apple. Now, definitely let's go over the price action, and because price action is also on the decline. Now, Apple is in the downtrend. As I say, if you're a member, you would have received all these updates along the ways, where to buy, where to sell. We even made money on Apple in the rebound as well. we were prepared, and members were prepared when the Apple is going to again decline. That's why you are seeing some of the drawings already on the chart here, like blue boxes especially, that I spend time on the videos, daily updates that come for the members, as I said. And if that all interests you, you can check out the details in the description of this video for the memberships, as I said. Now, here we are. Still in the decline. Still in the decline. There is no uptrend on Apple. Apple, once it started to lose $208 again, it was again on the decline. All the possibilities, even though those were good rebounds, but all those continuation were over, and that's where you gotta get out. And as per the members, they did. We played the bullish play up here, and then we also knew that this is where the bullish play is over, right? Now, anyhow, we'll get to the important levels for the long term to watch in just a second. Let's take a look at the intraday and near-term multi-day scenarios on Apple first. So right now, as I said, Apple is in the downtrend, and also on the hourly interval, we are in the downtrend. Okay, we do have very classic lower highs, lower lows. And at this point, if we have to look again on the upside on Apple, or where the near term at least price action can start to turn around on intraday and multi-day purposes, then the first level is the significant level, 198 and 22 cents. If Apple can start to get above this, there is a rebound, at least a bullish rebound can begin, and there can be a change of the structure beginning on Apple, but that will be just a beginning. It's just a rebound above 198. You also have a rebound possibility from 195. As if we stay above it, you will have to use my tools on 5 minutes, especially to identify what is the structure telling you. Again, all those, if you happen to join those memberships, you will receive all the onboarding videos on how to use the tools. Now, if we can get above 198 and 22 cents, there is a rebound possibility that can happen, but there is a lingering weakness still, at least if we are below $200. Technically, near-term multi-day uptrend from where we are, that is provided we don't break further below. So from where we are, $200 technically is, if we can get above it, structure will start to show us momentum again for a possible uptrend. And accordingly, at these levels, if you enter, you will have to have a stop loss along the ways below those levels. But these are the levels to watch for the near term. But anyhow, the good strength is not coming on this as long as we are below $200 in the near and multi-day terms. Now let's get to the overall structure, because yes, as if Apple stays below those levels, we're going to continue to fall. And until where can we fall, and where, now this I'm talking for the long-term perspective, and where you can there are the places where if you want to start a long-term position, that is a DCA, from the perspective of DCA, what would be those zones? Now, some of the zones are already on my screen here, the blue boxes. Even though I like to see first a confirmation of an uptrend to form, even after, because you don't want to buy a falling knife, right? For example, this situation back over here, we reached our important targets. But this red candle was not a buying confirmation. What was the buying confirmation? When we regained one of the important zones back up again, and then with the retest as well, we could have bought those. So those are the opportunities to buy, right? You don't want to buy a falling candle, because even though we are getting at a prominent place, but we want to see a confirmation. And all this stuff I talk with the members on my Patreon, so you know. So anyhow, right now, the areas that we might mostly come down and retest maybe again are like 181, unless we regain strength from where we are, as I just talked the scenarios on the hourly interval. But price action right now, the magnet, as if we don't regain those levels, the magnet are like 182 is the direction we are heading in. Now, it doesn't mean 182 is a great place to buy again. But 182 is 180 and 182 area is one of the best places to look if structure starts to stabilize there again and we regain a significant level again above, that is 185. That could be your at least a re-entry, not just on the intraday or multi-day, but for the long term, one of the good places to buy or DCA into Apple. Risk management is very important. You got to size in and out based on how much risk you can tolerate, regardless intraday, multi-day, or long-term trading. If you lose 180 to $182, your next prominent zone on Apple will be 165. Now, 165, I do consider, regardless of the tariffs or trade war, is a good for the long term. a good place to add into the Apple. If you don't have Apple, this is definitely the place. Even at 180, you can a little bit chip into it, and 160 is where, or around that area, that zone of 167, closer to that again, right? That's where either you can add more or DCA into it, or you start a position if you don't have it. Now, if again, I'm not saying we're going to lose these levels, but as if we start to lose the levels, then those levels below, especially the blue boxes, will become the magnets. Right? And as if we lose 167, that's where, yeah, we don't need this particular one now. It still is important, but let me actually, because as if you are using my tools, this will become very simple to understand. I'm just going to adjust the timeline here real quick. And this is the one of the important levels, and that's why it's a zone. And I just adjusted a couple of things on my tools here. And that's why this significant level is also important, 132. It's a zone that I want to give, like, 132. This blue box is from actually the previous times of scenarios when we were in the free fall. But this is still the zone, like it's always a buffer above and down, but this is still the zone, like 132. But that will be most likely if we ever lose 165. Right now we are far away, but those are your long-term places that you can DCA into it. And I don't think Apple will come that low at 132 area, but still, we have to trade with the technicals, and right now technicals are in the downtrend on Apple unless it regains some of the levels, at least starting from hourly interval that I just mentioned. Otherwise, our the areas we are watching is 180, $182, and if we lose that, then again around 167 area, closer to that. So anyways, things are not bad. Like it's a zone, guys. Okay, it's a zone, like 160 to $170. But anyhow, these are the places to watch on Apple right now. Definitely, as I said, just to reiterate, there is a dark cloud on Apple. There is not much clarity unless there is some news or catalyst comes out, especially for the macro, that can a little bit start to turn around the things. But technicals will tell you already that in advance. My tools helps you in all of that, as I said. But right now, Apple is just in the downtrend. So if you're a bull on Apple, it's a waiting game for you. Definitely based on the strategy, DCA or long-term or intraday, multi-day is what the scenarios that I just said is what you will have to apply in your trading. And anyhow, if you need regular updates, not just on Apple, but on many other big cap stocks, and besides those, also some of the lucrative plays that I see, as I said, in some of the stocks, in just a month, we have made 40% plus profits, 40%. That is, it's important to, stay the course on the videos, because, it's not that just one video you will watch and you will make, these big profits, right? It's about catching that opportunity and staying with that opportunity is what's important, which goes, it's a process, right? So you have to follow through those videos. Anyways, that's all I had for you guys. Again, as I said, if you're interested in all of that, check out the details of the memberships in the description of this video. There are Patreon links that will give you all the details. And with that, I'll see you in my next videos, guys. Take care. Bye.